technology, and it's really one of the biggest, pleasure of my life. I'm not kidding. I really like what I'm doing. So I just want to kind of to put everything in context. I just want to say that when I talk to people, so we have the big agricultural world, and then there is the seed and grains, and there is the post-harvest, and we are in this point where what we do is we provide digital inspection, and I'm going to show you that it's using all over the places. And I think that if you want to reduce waste and you want to improve efficiency, improve yield in the processing or during the transaction, you must measure what you're doing. Otherwise, it's kind of not going to work. And I saw with my own eyes cases when the term fair trading is not exist. So, but I'm going to talk about it in a second. So when we look on the supply chain, it's kind of simplified picture because there are many stakeholders. But I just want to make the point that we focus more on the post-harvest. There are different type of inspections, and we are focusing on the visual inspection. That's kind of the way we do it. One more thing to say that every time there is transaction between farmers to traders or to the grains processing companies and so on, there is somebody doing testing. In many cases, including the US, it's basically done manual. And there is a lot of things to improve. Any questions so far? Okay, we are okay, Rogelio? Okay.
Yes.
I just want to do that I'm not... So what I want to say is that as a company, we decided to look on the entire supply chain from the seed, grain processing and food processing, because what's happened, there is a missing link because nobody's not talking to anybody. When people do new breeding, they may be gonna take some land and gonna try to check the seeds and so on, but I don't think they have a good data from the next station or from even the food station. So we think that if you collect enough data from the all stages of the supply chain, then everybody benefit. And then I just kind of tried to take from this example just before the call. So I just want to share like what we're doing with companies. So for example, with USDA, we developed for them using our technology, and I share with you later what is our technology, a method or digital inspection to detect fusarium in wheat. Fusarium is very bad fungus, unwanted, and normally people are doing it today by hand or by chemicals. We also had a project with Haifa University for genetic banks, so they can capture the visual properties of the seeds for the records. There is a very interesting company called Equinome, and they had a great idea and using our product for a long time. And if you want to develop a new food, you can order from them. I want to get sesame seeds in specific area, a specific color and texture and so on. So that's what they're doing, and they're very successful. And also we're working with the California Rice Experiment Center in California, which is an extension of UC Davis for rice breeding. This kind of high level. On the processing area, if you look on Wilmar International, which is a big company, they have, I think, about 30 facilities for rice processing in China, but it's a big company. So what they're using us for rice processing, and we developed for them several applications to save and to improve the efficiency. And I can give you an example. So when you mill the rice, you have like what's called endpoint. When do you stop to do the milling? Because if you mill too less, the rice will be yellow or not kind of in the the right quality. If you mill too much, then you lose the grain because it's become a dust. So we developed an algorithm that it's come with the same machine, same instrument, same technology, but a specific use case for them to better control the yield. So they're using us in different locations in the entire supply chain. And when you talk about efficiency, when you deal with high volume in a short time, you want to have much faster response time from the inspections. Typical inspection will take maybe 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. By the time you're done with the testing, and you say, okay, I have an issue, maybe now already 50 tons of rice already passed the line and get damaged. So we're really looking on measurement quality, but we also like to develop applications around the data. And we're doing something with Bungie in California. In Canada, we have a company that produces food from the grains. But what they found, normally that's happened in the supply chain, and I think there is a war. So everybody try to make more money because they need to survive. So the big trading company is gonna, I don't to say use the word cheating, but they somehow pay less to the farmers, and the farmers try to make some more money, so they're blending all the new and all these kind of things. And there is a little bit of a lack of transparency in the supply chain. And we also have a product with General Mills. It's odd. All I want to show here that we're not really grain specific. As soon as we spend some time with the customer, we can create the right applications, how to use the data, how to be smarter about what you're doing, how to save time, how to save cost, and so on and so on. I also added like few projects, just few of the list, but here I cannot be very specific with the name because it's still in process and people don't like to, it's kind of in between. Just give you an idea in high level. So I have a project on maize, maize inspection, provide some properties that I'm looking for, not scratches, when it's broken, called fissures or, well, it's not really completely broken, just have like a broken maize. We have a project in France and in the US. We are working right now in kind of initial stage of coffee inspection in South America, and the idea is to help farmers to get better yield, because what's happening is they're selling the coffee either to the government and they want to sell it in high premium. So there is an idea that we work with a company and we're doing this part of the puzzle to create inspections and to give them feedback so they can help the farmers do a better job with growing the coffee beans or the farms. We also have a project with USDA to detect what's called in durum wheat HVAC. Again, the issue here is the same thing. So farmers selling wheat to elevators, they say, okay, you have 30%, 20%, 50% non-HVAC, and then you get lower grading, and then it's impact your revenue or impact how much money you make from your stuff. The last one, and it's very quick, we got a request from Korea, from a company that they're using mung beans to sprout them. It's more like creating like small sprouts for food. And we run some analysis and show that we can predict the germination rate or the sprouting rate so they can get better yield in their production. And if we can classify all their mung beans into groups, they can have much better control during the processing. So again, everything here is kind of early stage. And I'm just finishing in the last two slides. What we really offer today is three components. The first component is the instrument itself, which it's all you have here inside is camera, lighting, and it's like a package. But technically speaking, we can change the packaging so it can be mounted in conveyor or in different locations, maybe silo, maybe different location, because the whole technology is about the software and the algorithm. And companies before try to build, they try to say, okay, use machine learning to do that. It doesn't work. And we developed our own engine that can basically close a very big gap between what people sense as a human beings or what they think they see, to what you measure, and we were able to connect these two gaps between people and computers. So we already passed endless evaluations with companies in the beginning, USDA laboratories that check our equipment, so it's known for being accurate and the most advanced. And I did get an email from a Canadian Department of Agriculture last week, and she said, Rona, you have to help me because I want to buy a product, but I work for the government. Help me because we heard that your product is the most advanced and accurate in the market, which makes me feel very good. But it's really what we live by and believe in. The second part is a library, so we collect a lot of data. We don't say that we own the data, but we use the data to improve other people, activities. So we're collecting data on grains. We build applications to do many things, as I mentioned, and that's what we call the library. Then we can offer it to customers. And cloud is basically one that collects data from different locations. One of the issues in the market that there is no really standard, and everybody has his own standard. So one project we're doing in China is to connect 25 sites. It's still in discussions, but they're using our equipment for quite time, and they ask us to connect all the instruments to one place and have a corporate level standard. So not everybody can decide how you want to test it. So we try to create like really a unified system, I would say, so system. And we have dashboards and collecting data in alert systems and generating stuff like that. And this is the last slide. So what we're really doing, and I think that's what we do different than others. So we measure, what you see here is basically different seeds, just to emphasize that we focus on seeds and grains and and beans, but that's what we do. We don't do diamonds or don't do plastic beads, or we just in this area. So we really map every pixel in the grain or the seed, and we measure it. So we can tell you that this wheat kernel is about 7.2 millimeters within 100 microns error. And again, if you ask me if it's important for